Hello. For what feels like almost an entire calendar year, I have been watching Gilmore Girls, right? The series Gilmore Girls. Love it. Connecticut based. It's fall, it's cozy, it's nostalgic, it's got that grainy old feel to it, right? Loved it. As I'm watching, I come to find out that there's such a thing called Gilmore Girls: A Year in the Life. A series shot, I don't know, 8 years after the series finale, quote unquote series finale. So of course I'm gonna watch that. Of course I'm gonna continue to watch my precious Gilmore Girls run amok. But I think the entire thing was a monstrosity. A disgrace, even. I know. Kind of a controversial take, because I know a lot of people loved it, apparently. I don't know. If you're new here, hi, I'm Angie. I talk about TV, movies, pop culture, nostalgia, mostly. And in addition to the almost 20-minute rant that I posted the other day, I want to talk specifically about the ending of Gilmore Girls: A Year in the Life, because I think they could have reworked it to make it make a little more sense, okay? Spoiler alert, in the final episode of Gilmore Girls: A Year in the Life, Rory and Lorelai sit down under the iconic Stars Hollow gazebo. And they're chatting, they're reflecting, they're talking about life. And the final line in the entire series is a conversation where Rory goes, "Mom?" Lorelai goes, "Yeah?" Rory goes, "I'm pregnant." And then we fade to black, and that is the end of Gilmore Girls, the franchise, ever. And this is done seemingly to show the parallels of Rory and Lorelai's lives, right? So Rory's 32 when the show ends. Lorelai was 32 when the show started, right? When we met her. And it's supposed to be like this full circle moment. I hated it. I'm sorry. Mind you, when the show ends, like... Rory is still single. She had like a random one night stand in New York. She was like messing around with Logan the entire time. I don't know. Is it wrong of me to feel like Rory should have kind of had that waspy life? I'm not saying that she deserved a happy ending per se, but I think that ending the show with Rory kind of lost in her career, lost in relationships, randomly pregnant, it kind of feels like a slap in the face to Lorelai's character. I feel like Lorelai, through the entire series, has sacrificed so much for the sake of Rory's future. She like reopens her relationship with her parents, which she didn't want to do. It's not like resolved in any real way. I mean, they made an agreement to see each other every summer, I guess. It feels like Lorelai really stuck her neck out there time and time again to make sure that Rory lived a life that was not at all parallel to hers. And ending the show that way just felt disrespectful, in my opinion. Also, having Rory like randomly become a novelist, that was weird to me. That was so out of the blue. It made no sense to me. I understand that like it was like a kind of, she ends up writing Gilmore Girls, the series, the TV series. I don't know. She proposes this idea to her mom that she's going to write a story about their lives, not just their lives, specifically Lorelai's life. Lorelai was apprehensive, and it didn't feel like that was resolved by the end of the series either. She was kind of like, yeah, like, I'm not going to read it, but you can write it, I guess. That doesn't feel like an approval to me. I don't understand the pipeline. Like, yeah, like what, Jess walks into her work and suggests that she should write a book about her life, but there was no pipeline from journalist to novelist. I think those are two very different things. Rory wasn't really good at the first thing, and now she's pivoting, which, we all do in life, I guess. You got to pivot when life gets tough. What is Rory's book even? Sorry, that that remained confusing to me. What even is the book she's writing? Is it an autobiography? Is it a biography about her mom? Is it a memoir? Is it a fictional novel based on a true story? Like, I just like, I can't believe that's how we ended up. I cannot believe that's how he ended up. I just feel like she was supposed to marry Logan, work at maybe some alternate paper that was not New York Times. I don't feel like she deserved New York Times, but maybe the Hartford Courant. I'm from Connecticut. I read the Hartford Courant. It's a great paper. It's not New York Times level paper. It's not Boston Globe level paper, but like she could have worked for the Hartford Courant. It's very interesting to me that they decided to parallel Rory's life with Lorelai's when by the end of it, they show no similar qualities at all, other than, I don't know, their love for food or something. Lorelai has proven time and time again that she will do anything to have her dreams come to fruition, which we saw throughout the entire original series with her journey with Suki and getting the dragonfly in, and her whole original hotel burned to the ground and they had to renovate. Like all of that stuff, that tenacity, that grit is in Lorelai. And so and then we just don't see Rory. Like we just don't see Rory like have any of those characteristics whatsoever. It's like I just think we should have seen a Rory version of a mixture of Lorelai and Emily's lives, because that was the point from the get-go. That was the whole push and pull of all three of their relationships, was like, is Rory gonna end up like Lorelai and like be a single mom and raise a kid by herself and work a manager job, or is she going to end up like a housewife like Emily and marry rich and join the DAR? And so it would have just made sense to put her kind of in between both worlds. No, like it just felt like we went through the entire journey through Hartford and her joining the DAR and then leaving and then going to Yale, and like all of this like Hartford energy felt like it was wasted because she ended up right back in Stars Hollow, navigating life alone. There was no payoff. There was no payoff whatsoever. I gotta say, my parents are immigrants. They moved to America so that their kids can have a better life than they did, right? Like I think that's a typical immigrant story. I think that's a typical life story, right? Your parents want you to do better. And to see Rory be 32 and not be in any better position than her mom was at 32, like felt like a knife in the chest. I wish so badly that the Year in the Life series didn't center solely around Rory, because they introduced new ideas. I know I talked about this in the last video, but it's like they introduced this 30-somethings club and it was definitely a joke. And I do think that had they fleshed that out and kind of had this running motif of 30-year-olds living in their hometown with their parents, like that is a relatable story. That is something that I think would resonate with a lot of people. And they kind of like played it as a joke, and that was a creative choice. But I think it would have given way more context as to what happened with Rory. Why was her journey so tumultuous? Why was it so strange being this like star child of Stars Hollow? Everyone, the entire, what do they say? What's the phrase? Like it takes a village to raise a kid. That's what Stars Hollow was. Stars Hollow. Sorry. Stars Hollow. That's what Stars Hollow was. It was a village of people raising this one kid. And so now not only is it Lorelai's sacrifice, it's like tens of people, dozens of people raising this girl to be her truest, most successful self. And she still couldn't do it. It was tough. It was a very tough watch for me. And I'm still on my soapbox, like thinking about how disappointing it was to feel like Rory couldn't do anything. She actually did. I spent a year of my life watching Rory hopefully turn into something, and it just never happened. I would have loved for the last scene of Gilmore Girls: A Year in the Life to be all three Gilmore Girls on Nantucket with their extended family of sorts, right? Luke, Logan, maybe the kid, maybe she already had the kid. Like I do want to see this like picturesque ending, looking out at the water. I feel like we went through a lot to get nothing, and I'm disappointed. I feel like if you agree, you have to subscribe. Thank you for listening to me on my soapbox. This was a quick one. I just like am scatterbrained right now about the entire endeavor, and like I'm at a loss for words. I can't believe it. I mean, I'm still a lover of the show. I still probably will buy merch at some point. I still rep Stars Hollow, Connecticut. I'm just not happy about it. And I think if we invest so much in our children, we should see a payoff of it. That's my opinion. Anyway, I'll see you next week. I love you so much. Bye.